Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your September 2025 tarot card reading. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Jane. I'm so happy to have you here with us. So let's see what comes through with the tarot cards, starting with 5 cards. We'll pull out 10 cards, so be sure to stick around for the second row. We have the Two of Coins, the Queen of Cups, all right. I'm seeing a link here between the Ten of Swords right here and the Two of Coins, which is not normally a pair of cards that I would pair together, but I feel like there's a clear chain reaction going on here, okay? We start with the Two of Coins, which, first of all, there's a lot going on, clearly. There's often, when this card comes out, this energy of juggling a lot, right? So you've got a lot on your plate, you have a lot of obligations, you have a lot of things that need to be accomplished, and there are certain things that are going to need to be deprioritized, right? That you're going to have to choose to put some things ahead of other things. And for many of you, you may have to choose to take certain things off the docket altogether. This is not always the easiest process because sometimes we try to convince ourselves we can do it all. And I'm not saying you can't do it all, but for some reason, I'm feeling like there's a timing issue here where there are certain things that demand completion sooner rather than later, and therefore you have to go all in on those things, which means other things don't fit. And, you know, it's not always the easiest process. And I think sometimes we feel sad or we feel guilty or we feel ashamed that we can't do all of it and we have to back burner certain things. And maybe you don't even really want to back burner those things. It's just that they're not relevant to what you have going on right now. But I think that you, Sagittarius, really, really have to practice self-care right now with this Queen of Cups. Okay, you have to be self-loving. And you have to follow your intuition on this. And I think intuitively you're going to know that, yeah, there are certain things that just don't really, they don't suit me. They don't suit the project. They don't work. And this seems like a very quiet process with the Queen of Cups and the Hermit. I don't see Sagittarius going through this loud situation. All right. It's deeply internal. Has a lot to do with how you feel about things, a lot to do with how you're feeling guided by your higher self or by the spirit. And I don't know that there's a lot of logic here. And I think Sagittarius, typically, you are capable of a great deal of logic, right? Especially with Mercury coming into Virgo, which is Mercury's rulership. This is just one of those, you know, typically we can be technical about things, but I just don't know that right now you can be. I think right now it's a little more fluid. It's a lot more intuitive. It's a lot more fuzzy to the conscious mind. It's a lot more fuzzy to logic. Like it just doesn't fit into the equation. And yet I think you proceed anyway, which rightfully so, as you should. We have the Hermit, which speaks to introspection, philosophy, thinking things over, going inside, meditating, and yes, asking questions, but also really being okay with not necessarily receiving answers. A lot of times the Hermit plants a lot of seeds. So when you have questions about your life, about where things are going, about how you're going to do things, you know, you go into these spaces and you ask these exact questions: how, what, where, why, when, who. But again, you don't expect an answer, not right away at least. But this is a process of putting things out there. And you do this through your heart space. You do this through your connection with spirit. again, it's quiet. I don't see Sagittarius talking about this stuff with people. I don't see you, letting people in all on your business. Like, you're just rearranging your life, and that's nobody's business. And I know that maybe some of you are married and you have children and whatnot, but even so, I don't know that you really are letting a bunch of people, at least not at first. I think with the Two of Cups, there's a little openness here, but not at first. Keeping in mind that the first week of September is actually extremely eventful, all right? As of September 1st, Saturn goes back to Saturn retrogrades back to Pisces. September 6th, we have Uranus stationing retrograde in Gemini. Of course, that's opposite of you. And then the very next day, we have this massive total lunar eclipse in Pisces, a big full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces. So I think you can sense the intensity of the energy here, and you're trying to let events play out without judging yourself too harshly, without being too critical or, projecting any shame or anything onto yourself. And you're just kind of in this let's wait and see where all of this lands place. I'm reorganizing, I'm resituating, I'm redoing all of this. I don't really have a lot of rhyme or reason to it other than it's associated with my goal, okay? I don't have a lot of explanation for people. I don't really know how this is going to transpire, but I'm just going to let myself flow here, because clearly during eclipse season, we are going to have moments of, I always like to say, clicking into destiny. It's like that needle just moves a little bit more tightly with where we're meant to go. And right now, I just think we have to take our hands off the wheel a little bit, not entirely, but take our hands off the wheel a little bit and let the universe drive. Now, the reason why I said I think the Ten of Swords and the Two of Coins are linked is because with the Two of Coins, like I say, some things have to be removed from the docket altogether. And I think this is the ending of many things, right? Many tasks, whatever path, that you decided wasn't right for you or whatever. And honestly, I see a great deal of relief with this. Even if there are things you don't necessarily want to deprioritize, it's like once you do, you feel really good about it. And you start to say, okay, I'm glad that's over. I'm glad I don't have to put any more thought into it. I'm glad I can take that off my plate, because I think you were putting a lot of thought, therefore energy, into things that weren't necessarily to your benefit, at least not for right now. And there was a waste or a drainage of this energy. And so now this energy can be retained, it can be restored and redirected toward the right things. I don't see grieving here. I don't see sadness. Even if there are things that you don't necessarily want to let go of, I don't see you being sad about it in the long run. I see you being in full acceptance of things. I'm seeing a really zen vibe from Sagittarius right now. Very zen. Very much whatever shall be, shall be. I don't see you being a victim, though. Let's keep that clear. I don't see you just laying down and taking it. I do see you, participating in your life. I do see you making solid choices on a day-to-day basis. But I just don't know that you're judging anything too harshly right now. I think this is one of the beautiful things about being a Jupiter ruled person, is that you don't judge. You do have a very open mind. Two of Cups. Now this is probably a turning point, probably around middle September, where you probably do start to integrate or incorporate other people into what you're doing. Okay, this can be sometimes a romantic connection, sometimes a collaboration, a creative connection, whatever the case may be. But typically this is a heart-to-heart and a mind-to-mind connection. It's real, it's true, it's honest, it's blatant, it's upfront, there's nothing hidden. While I think you are going through a very private process, I don't think that you're in this really guarded place. So if someone wants to know something, you will tell them. it's not secretive in that like you're gonna zip your lip and not say anything. It's just in your own private world here, which makes sense with the Pisces eclipse, right? That's in your fourth house. So it does really say, okay, yeah, there is some private world stuff happening. All right. But just because it's private world doesn't mean it has to be on lockdown. And I do think this is a time where you open up and you start to share and you start to talk to people and you start to, maybe gather ideas or advice or counsel of some sort. Or you just have nice connections that remind you why it was so important to let this stuff go. Okay. Let's see what else comes through for you, Sagittarius. Second row of cards. What else do you need to know? That one. Beautiful. Okay. So the second half of September, obviously keep in mind that, we also enter Libra season near the end of the month. So we have that Libran activation. Mars will also move into Scorpio, which is his sign of rulership. But after a period of time where I think things feel, I don't want to say heavy. It doesn't feel heavy. It just feels dense, maybe. This seems to trigger something, okay? It seems to trigger ideas, inspiration, seems to excite you. And this process of bringing something into physical form seems to really get your engine revving. All right? It seems to, like I say, ignite something within you that says it's possible, I can, it's going to work. And you start to feel kind of the limitlessness or the infinite possibilities in front of you, especially when you have a specific goal in mind. Like we're not necessarily in a high elimination time, I wouldn't say, except for the fact that we've got Pisces involved in this whole astrology this month, because Pisces does eliminate, but it does it in its own way. It's more surrender, letting go, forgiveness, mercy, grace, that type of thing, where we very gently and compassionately release something. So there is elimination happening, and you are eliminating things that have gotten in the way. And I think once you do that and you have the mental and emotional capacity to channel toward the goal, your creative energy sparks. And you start to say, wow, I feel great. I feel so excited. I feel like this is possible. I feel like I can. And things do seem to start moving very quickly near the end of the month. And what I love about this is there is no chaos. There is no confusion. There is no mixed signals. And I think this has a lot to do with what's going on up here, like taking the time to be inside yourself, to ask yourself these questions, to introspect, to meditate, to respect yourself, right? All of those things are leading to this. Because there are going to be Sagittarians that never take things off their plate because they want to do it all. They won't take things off their plate. They'll continue to juggle, and they won't have the space for this. So this won't happen for all the Sagittarians out there. It won't happen. And maybe you're cross-watching for a Sagittarius and you say like, yeah, my Sagittarius is stuck right here and they're not moving. They're not budging. They're not releasing. So, and that's fine. That's their journey. There will come another time for them to be able to do what they need to do. Their evolution is their own business. But for the Sagittarians who want to be open to the next chapter, all right, I forgot to mention too, actually August 31st, we have Pluto moving out of bounds, which is a very rare thing. The last time it happened was the 1930s. So what an out of bounds planet is, right? The sun travels on this path called the ecliptic, and it kind of goes a little bit north and south, and there's this band, right? 23 degrees, and I think it's like 27 minutes or something, 23 degrees to the north and 23 degrees to the south of the ecliptic. So it kind of goes up and down, creating this band. And the Pluto or planets once in a while, they typically stay within that range, but once in a while they will go beyond. So they'll move past to the south or to the north of that range. And as of August 31st, Pluto is going to be doing that exact thing, which what it does is creates a pure expression of Pluto. So all the things that Pluto represents: elimination, obsession, destruction, transformation, death, passion, laser sharp focus, right? A lot of these traits are going to be unruly. And I think that's a good thing, because life can change very quickly with that. And clearly life is changing very quickly for Sagittarius with that Eight of Wands. Things start to move. But it's this time, this is the magic right here, the Queen of Cups, the Hermit. This is the magic. These are the seeds that are planted. This is the motivation, and this is the initial action here. So there's a whole series going on in September for you. Things are going to even out. So where there have been discrepancies or imbalances, you will start to see things either coming to you or leaving, right? There's always like this balance. There's this reciprocity. There's an inflow and an outflow both. But this is what generates a lot of energy as well. You are, with the Four of Wands, in an extremely safe position. I don't want you to feel like, I'm not saying your life will be perfect. Okay. In fact, some of you might be in a kind of, you may feel insecure because maybe there's something going on, like with your living situation or with your money or with your relationship or whatever. But actually, you are more secure now than you will have ever been, right? I think the Four of Wands, it's so grounded. And I think you're grounded in yourself, you're grounded in your purpose, grounded in your joy, grounded in your connection with the spirit. And you are safe. Okay? I also think with the Two of Cups and this card here, Four of Wands, that there are people around you that are absolutely cheering you on. Keeping in mind that these probably are not the people that were initially involved in all of this, but once they start seeing you take action, they start seeing you go, they see you kind of taking the leap a little bit. Although I don't see huge leaps this month. It's Virgo season, so it's not really like this giant time, but it is eventful. So maybe, I don't really see that in the cards, but whatever steps you are taking, I think it's the Eight of Wands, like the straight line, direct point A to point B with no detours, no chaos, no disruption, right? Super, super focused. That's what people are going to look onto you and be like, dang, Sagittarius, you are killing it. Like, amazing. I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a great job. And I think there is warmth and a belonging with that Four of Wands as well, and that you will feel like you're a part of something. And so whatever you decided to prioritize definitely is for the best, not just for you, but for your community and the people around you, because they get the best of you. And that's always good for everyone. More intuitive energy. We have the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess, which is, this is Cancerian energy. This is more subconscious realm type stuff. I think you're going to see a depth within yourself through this process. Also with the Hermit, it just feels like a very deep time, right? Pluto out of bounds. It feels very deep. It feels like you are truly anchored and rooted in something. Now, there might be a surfacing of, a little trauma here or a trigger there, or something from your past kind of comes up and challenges you and kind of, oh, you shouldn't, you're not good enough, whatever. I just don't see you giving that type of energy any power at all. I just don't see it. In fact, I think you use that stuff, those negative narratives, whatever they are, as fuel. And your motivation really does come from something deep. This probably also, especially the last few cards here, has a lot to do with Mars and Scorpio, which of course is 12th house energy as well. So Mars in Scorpio is also deeply powerful. There's a lot of scorpionic energy with Mars in rulership and Pluto out of bounds by the end of the month, by Libra season, okay? So we're going to feel this determination, and it's going to continue. It starts in Virgo season, but it is going to continue. Alrighty, let's see what comes through here with the oracles, and then we will pull out all of the clarifiers. So Sagittarius, what is it you need to know here from the Animal Spirit deck? We have life is a mystery. See, and I love that because I think you embrace it. I think you genuinely embrace the mystery with that Hermit card, where you say, I've got all these questions, but I don't need the answer. I don't need the clarity right now. And I don't think you do. I really don't. I think that you are okay with just moving along according to your little plan. And if it changes, it changes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Great. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who's involved. Like, it's all fine. And I think you embrace this mystery better than most people. I think this is a Jupiterian trait. You just embrace the unknown in a way that many people, they're so afraid of it. I just don't think you're afraid. I think you're thrilled by it. I think you are turned on by it, not in like a sexual way, but like your spiritual, creative energy gets ignited, right? You believe in the impossible with this moon card here, blue moon. Believe in the impossible. The limitlessness I mentioned, the infinite possibilities that are in front of you. The belief is strong. Yet another good thing about being a Jupiter-ruled person, I'm not saying every Sagittarius is the most positive person on the planet, but you can go there. You can go to that positive realm, to that believing realm in, you can flip it on when you need to. It's a fantastic tool. And I think you do. You flip it on. Once you have the space for it, you got to clear up the space first. That's Virgo season, right? We're preparing. So we got to clean up the space first. But once we do, it is full on. Okay? All right, let's pull out the clarifiers. So for those of you who are new, we're going to pull out like 30 cards. Whoops, hold on. I'm not ready yet. Not taking those. We're going to pull out like 30 cards. And we're going to talk about these in the comprehensive reading. We're just going to go really in depth and hopefully extract more detail, more information for you. So the link for that will be in the description box and the comment thread down below. Okay? All right, Sagittarius, let's see what comes through here for the Two of Coins. What is it you need to know here? The Moon. There's so much trust in these cards right now. Three of Coins. Eight of Wands, beautiful, love that. Strength. Six of Wands. Page of Coins. King of Coins. Queen. Wow, a lot of coin cards, all very earthy. Even the Hermit is a Virgo card. All the earth being represented there. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Beautiful Ace of Coins, Devil, the World, a lot of Saturn energy there. It seems like there's something that's been a long time coming. Page, King, Eight of Coins, another Four of Wands, a Wheel of Fortune, beautiful, and a Ten of Wands. Eight of Swords, Nine of Coins, and the Lovers, beautiful. Three of Wands, Two of Wands, Six of Cups, Knight of Cups, another Magician, King of Cups, another Page, another Queen of Cups, and last but not least, Temperance. Okay, so Sagittarius, this is where we will pick up. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you all so much. I hope you have an amazing September, and I'll talk to you soon.